Hey, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Wake Up Late with Dougie Show. I'm Dougie Almeida. It's election night. It's November 3rd, and I'm here in Danger Studios trying to keep up with the election, whatever's going on. You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe you guys can pay attention to this too, but it's early. This is like the second quarter of a basketball game. There isn't shit going on yet. You know what I mean? There's nothing really determined yet. And this thing could last till Friday, you know, and we'll see what happens. But I'm joined today with my guest because hey, he's here. He's ready.
I'm
He ain't
here.
fucking around. Jonathan Gregory's here with me.
What's up, y'all?
And
Holla back. Good boy.
welcome, Jonathan. And Kabir Singh will be joining us. He was just delayed. I guess his airplane was bothered in the air, like a bunch of Trump supporters flying airplanes slowed down his
Mm,
airplane.
mm.
They were drawing guns and holding him out the window. But he's going to be probably joining us within the second half of the show. So we'll stay tuned for that. And man, welcome, dude. I mean, listen. One of the things you and I talked about before we're going to start the show was like, listen, I'm not a political guy. I don't want to. I don't want to. And believe me, I don't really want to either. So we're this being the election night, we kind of have to at least touch. But I don't want to. I don't care what who's right, who's wrong. You know what I mean? I don't want to hear that. I just think there's a lot of craziness that that's happening through this, and we'll probably talk about. And I think we will talk about that situation where the bus, you didn't even watch it because it's so stupid to you, right? You
I didn't know. It's a non-story to me.
right, and it's a non-story to you basically because what? Nothing really happened. I mean,
I don't know. I mean, I don't care. Some people drove next to a bus. That's fine. I don't. It doesn't make a difference to me. I don't care.
yeah. And I actually got into it today with somebody, and it's funny because it was on my buddy Joey Medina's Instagram, and I just made a comment, and of course somebody jumps out and says, "Well, these people just feel whatever." And I'm like, "Hey, I just watched the video and I noticed that it happened." Like, "Oh, you don't even know what you're talking about," whatever. And I'm like, "Okay." And then I go, "Whatever." And then I was ignorant. Obviously, I'm an ignorant. I'm a sheep. I have no. I don't know. Again, all these things they do, and I'm the one that you're trying to intimidate me. And then they went down to, I'm sure your family are very proud of you. And I said, you know what? You really need to look up, just Google it because I'm sure you haven't studied, but just Google it. When somebody brings up your family in an argument, that's usually a sign that their family was the worst,
They have
right?
like an issue. Yeah.
They have
Well, I
issues.
can't use that then because I have issues with my family, so I better not use that one again.
They say those who live in glass houses shouldn't talk about their family. You know what they said about that thing? Anyway, I was asking you before the show, Jonathan. I've known you. You and I met. I think we may have met in Florida, but we didn't really like hang out, meet. We kind of maybe, passed like two people outside an elevator. But then we
That's
met
what
at the
I mean.
SLL Comedy Festival, Slow Comedy Festival, right?
Hell yeah.
And
It's a great time.
we had a
Louis
great
Obispo.
San Luis Obispo. And
San Luis Obispo. Apologize.
yes, and listen, uh, did you say there or there? Um, I but we were talking about social distancing, everything that's going on now, but one of the most pinnacle evenings of the whole weekend or week was when you and I and maybe another, I don't know, 150 comics were in a hotel room.
It was jam. Let's be if we're gonna give a real number to it, let's say 35 into a
Right.
to a studio, like a like the upscale cheap hotel.
Right. Because it had a sink and a kitchen and a
Yeah.
couch. And there's food everywhere. I mean, there was Swedish meatballs, there was enchiladas, there was just right. I mean, it was catered.
It's nice.
And then
When I brought my 7-Eleven sub, I had to bring my 7-Eleven sub in that room.
Johnny,
Gas station sandwich. I'm all about the gas station sandwich. Been living on that for years.
really? Is that the
Saves you a
se-
bunch of money on the road. Just go pick up a sandwich for $4. Good.
That is not a bad idea. Like obviously I've worked with people, I've learned those ideas from like the minute they get to the hotel, they'll run to Publix or a grocery store, get like a bunch of waters, right? So you're not just getting waters from the
Always
hotel,
water.
right? And then you get some cold cuts, maybe get a little loaf of bread for $1.50, and you get some turkey, some whatever you want. And then you
You
make
get the mayonnaise for free. They have mayo behind the deli. They'll give it to you for free, mayo and
oh really?
mustard.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, a little packet, so you have enough to get you through the weekend.
Yeah. Or just get it, try to get through something. When you get to the comedy club, just take a bunch of the packets. Now you got sandwiches. So you learn everything. Um, do people call you? We were talking about names. Do people call you Johnny? They call you John, or they call you Jonathan?
People call me my name, which is Jonathan.
Right.
But if someone likes you, they call you Johnny. That's like a term of endearment. You put that Y at the end. Robbie, Tommy, Bobby,
Yeah, it's nice. It's like
Mommy,
friendly. I've had
Daddy.
I've had some haters say, Dougie, who you're 50 something years old. Your name's Dougie. What's your issues? I'm like,
I think it's cute.
thank
Keep
you.
rocking it. Yeah.
I love it, dude. Because again, look at me. I'm not, I wear, I told the guy, because somebody, it was I don't remember, somebody said it in person one time at a comedy festival. And he goes, Dougie, it was like, nothing that bad. He's like, Dougie, like, how old are you? I'm like, yeah. I said, dude, I got Chuck Taylors on. I got blue Chuck Taylors on. And you're asking me why I call myself Dougie and not Douglas? You know, I mean, come on, figure it out. Um,
So
but
do you
that,
want to call me Johnny? You call me Johnny is what this is about.
here's the thing. You always want to feel comfortable, right? You want to say John, Jonathan, Jonathan flows, Jonathan,
Call me Johnny. Call me
Johnny.
Johnny.
All right. And you can call
Yeah.
me Dougie,
All
Johnny and
right then.
Dougie. So for the next half
Yeah.
hour or so, it's the Johnny and Dougie show or the Dougie and Johnny show, whatever makes you feel good. Cause I'm not going to tell anybody what they should do. Um, speaking of haters, there was an interesting, I followed, I love you on Facebook and everything, obviously, but, you, you had an incident because you know, there's certain with all this COVID thing, it's hard to work. So when comics are working, it's good to see. A lot of places are closed. A lot of people can't get work. It's a bad time to be a
It hasn't
performer.
really been that hard for me because I'm willing to work.
Yeah, and Arizona's open, right? You're in Arizona,
Yeah, I mean most of the stuff I'm getting is out of Arizona.
right?
Yeah, but it's just, I mean, the work's there if you want to work. I realize a lot of people don't want to work, but I
See, I don't
mean,
know. I don't know how that worked because I'll work. Like again, I was confident. I had COVID in June, so after that, I didn't care. I had the antibodies.
you're
Yeah,
immune.
I got the IgG. Yeah, you know me. I got the IgG. Poor Jonathan's heard this about 18 times before the show. So he's like fucking song again. So yeah. So I felt comfortable. I didn't care about getting on a plane. I felt I had at least a few months of immunity, right, from this horrible thing. So but you're a healthy guy. I mean, you walk up mountains every day and you stop trains with your fucking teeth. I mean, you're pretty, or I'm sorry, your forehead. You just stand there and stop the
I
train.
try. I try.
But so I guess what happened, somebody like you're working, you're posting, hey, I'm going to be at the whatever, I'm going to be this weekend here, and some comic, was it a comic, basically goes and basically tells you how bad you are and how unsafe you're being because you're actually on the road and traveling doing
Oh
stuff.
no, they told me they want me to die, and all the comics that are opening for me on the show to die. They hope that our limo flips over and then we all die, and the
Is that
bodies aren't found.
the guy said this? This is
Yeah, I mean, he typed. Things are different. Here's the problem: people type things. Do they say them to my face? I mean, not just me, just in general. Like this is kind of, I catch myself in that when I have little. I try not to make anything aggressive. I try to just, I like having conversations on Facebook, but we kind of, I think sometimes we lose the humanity. We lose like the possibility of maybe the guy's like bigger than me. Maybe this isn't something I want to say to somebody. I don't know.
well, the internet,
Not that I'm the biggest guy in the world, but I'm bigger than this guy. That's all I'm saying.
but the internet has a funny way of doing it. The internet is almost like the older version of the big best friend. Like, you know what I mean? Like you've had those moments, when somebody would mouth off and then in person, they're like, oh, you know what? And all of a sudden they walk over to their friend, they got three or four dudes with them, you know what I mean? And and they're still popping. Oh, well, now you want to talk because you got your buddies here, you know what I mean? And now I have to go into an all out, fracas, to make you shut up, people that hide behind that, and I've been on both sides of that. Again, you're a fighter, you're a boxer, you're a trained, pugilist. So like me, I've been in martial arts since I'm a kid. So I had this reputation when I had people, sometimes I'd have friends that would like be a little mouthy to people, Like we're in high school, we'd be at the beach. Somebody, oh, fuck your girlfriend's fat. What the fuck's wrong with you, dude? And whoa, the guy's gonna come over here and not you expect I'm gonna protect you? You think I'm gonna get into a fight with this guy because you don't know how to act like So people, I think on the internet, that's what people do. They don't think someone's gonna knock on their door one day and say, hey, you remember what you said? You remember what you said to me? Now this is interesting stuff because you were pretty like, dude, you should have got an Academy Award for those videos, buddy, because you were so, you know, Henry B, right? Henry B was the guy.
Yeah, well, there's more coming. There's more videos coming. The training hasn't stopped. I'm gonna train every day. So, I mean, if you threaten a man on Facebook because he's working, and you wish that him and all his friends die, and that the limo flips over, and that he doesn't exist, a man with a child, a man with a wife, a man with a family, a man with values, a man with some kind of ethical code. What do you expect to happen? Do you expect that man to stop training, to not find you someday, to not run into you? Then what do you do when you're 140 pounds and he's 207 pounds?
Yeah, you put on a couple pounds, buddy. I always thought you were 200. Um,
I'm just trying to give you a little taste of it. That's all.
people need to check it out because I was actually almost pissed my pants a little bit. But that's the thing. You get like that because there are people that love to use their words. There are people that love to like they're the bullies that like to just say these things in front of a bunch of people. That's the thing. They're doing it on like that other people are watching it. So that's the other problem. It's almost like having your best friend there who's bigger than everybody to protect you, and you're mouthing off, and there's a bunch of people watching. So now you're even more emboldened to say things that you know what I mean? And you're right. There's a moment that it's great because I believe in karma. I believe in that. So these people that really open up that Pandora's box and they think they're just enjoying that wielding of power, they think they're getting. There's a day you're gonna have to come and pay the piper. There's a day, right, that he's gonna be walking there he's gonna go pick up some Fruit Loops. One day he's gonna go into a store and there's fucking Jonathan Gregory around the corner getting his wee power protein.
See, but all at that moment when it comes to that, all I want is love, and that's all I've ever wanted. That's all I strive to.
You're gonna go and hug it. You see Henry B. You're gonna hug him,
kiss him. There's nothing wrong with two straight men kissing over an old beef when you said you want the guy to die, and then you block him on Facebook. Is that something that a man should do to another man?
No, it's just cruel. I'm with you on this, dude. I need to figure out why can't I share the goddamn show on my Facebook page? Because it's what bugs me. These are the things that save, share. Hold on. I'm trying to get it.
All I'm trying to think about is when I'm out hiking, at what degree do I need to stop taking my shirt off? If I want to get all that vitamin D, and I'm out there in the sun at 70 degrees, is it getting too creepy for me to go shirtless hiking? Like how cold? 60? Like what degree are we at where I need to make sure I have a shirt on, or it's just weird?
Well, listen, I'm so fat that I don't think it matters what temperature it is. I'm keeping the shirt on. You know what I mean? Like I'm the guy in the pool with the shirt on. You know what I'm saying? You don't need to. You don't. Need
to, that's more uncomfortable. It sticks to you. You're in a pool. It's not comfortable.
What's that?
Having a shirt on you when you're in a pool, it sticks to you. That's not comfortable.
I know, but either is a toupee, but bald guys do that to hide things. So when you're fat and you got boobs, you don't want everybody to actually, you want them to actually hope, does that guy have tits and a big belly? I don't know. That shirt might be covering it. Maybe it's just water weight.
I suggest a wetsuit's a lot more comfortable.
Yeah. Just jump in the pool with it like an O'Neill full body. That's how I'm going to start showing up to fucking pool parties nowadays. I'm going to show up with an O'Neill sweatsuit. There we go. I could do this now.
There's no suction. It's sealed to your skin.
Yeah. Are you a water sports guy? Have you surfed? Have you done some windsurfing? Any of that stuff?
I don't like swimming.
No.
Nah. I like going to the pool like in Vegas and just kind of, at waist level, standing and having a beer. I like that.
Yeah, that's fun. I just fixed up my pool in my house. We got to re-diamond brighted and resurfaced for the big sale because we're going to sell the house. And I love the pool. I've always been a pool guy. Um,
Okay.
yeah, I did. I love the pool. Matter of fact, when I was a kid, we all had our chores. You had chores. You're a man. You had chores when you were a kid, right?
Yeah,
What were some
absolutely.
What were some of your chores around the house?
Well, I grew up in a school, so I grew up in a business. We had a it was a house that was a preschool that slowly morphed into a complete preschool, which still exists today. My sister runs it. But as I was getting older, the rooms were disappearing, and it was all becoming business. So a lot of my chores, we did have a pool at the time. The pool's not there anymore. Clean the pool, take out the garbage, sweep all the sidewalks and the driveway out front. We had animals. I had to tend to the animals like a farmer. Shovel all the manure
Yeah.
back into the alley. Feed the animals. Didn't have to mow the grass, which was nice because there was a lot of grass. That wasn't one of my. We did have a guy that came and did that, but the animals I had to tend to.
So you didn't mind
Yes.
you didn't mind the animals. I mean, they're live beings, but the grass, like I had allergies and shit when I was a kid, so I hated doing the grass because my parents never had much money, so they'd get the lawnmower without the bag, like they didn't have it, and it was a shitty lawnmower.
Oh,
So like
terrible.
so,
Yeah.
and of course my brothers were supposed to be doing the yard, and they wouldn't do it. So by the time I went down, I'm the youngest of four boys. By the time they got me to do it, and I always had the excuse, I got allergies, I can't go out there and do the yard. So once that
Yeah.
finally happened, we got down to it. It was like you're in the African Queen movie trying to get through the front yard, and the fucking the lawnmower dies every 4 feet. And you're sitting there opening it. So I was the pool guy. Um, yeah, it's nuts, dude. But you have to, you have a child now, so you're gonna give them chores. You're gonna give them things to do, right? It's responsibility. They got to know what their role is in the
Yeah,
house.
yeah, I got some plans. I mean, I haven't washed my car in a year, so that's something we can start at here soon. He's two. It's kind of difficult for him to do anything at this moment. I'm
Yeah.
still changing the diaper. I really want to. I want to stop that. I want all that to stop.
What is the average age where a baby stops using a diaper?
I don't know. I wish I knew. I mean, he just turned two, but I remember talking to a buddy of mine from Russia, and he was just saying that just it was never okay. That's how they train kids there. It just was never okay.
Yeah. Stop shooting in your
So I
pants.
never. So they learn fast. He said they crap their pants. You put them in pants you don't care about. You always tell them from the get go that it's not okay.
So you're saying
Really,
you're saying the Russian way of potty training is you just let the kid shit themselves.
and always tell them it's not okay to shit
What
yourself.
did you do? Yeah.
Tell a person.
You would think that most people, even at the earliest of ages, once you shit yourself, you got to realize this isn't good. This can't be
Yeah.
right.
So
This is the
I
norm.
think that's the next step. Is I'm just gonna get a bunch of like some bunch of baby clothes from Goodwill and just tell them every time it's not. This isn't how you're supposed to live.
And then like act like you're
You're not
really
supposed
mad by throwing the clothes in the lawn. I can't be like this. You know.
and then no, I don't want to scar them. I'm just going to go ahead and I've kind of conceded everything to my wife. She's got her master's degree and she studied early childhood psychology. She's
Look at
got a
that.
background in counseling.
Well,
So I'm
that's
just going to
good.
go ahead and let her. I just do what she says, and then we just raise the child, and then that's it.
I think that'd be great to watch you guys have the argument where you're sitting there trying to sell her on the Russian idea.
we've had that talk.
Oh, yeah.
She didn't buy it.
Honey, I know you got your master's degree. I know you read all them books. I know you did all that case study watching the kids and shit. But that's nothing. I met this guy. He's Russian. Um,
He was former heavyweight champion of the world, though. That was my
who are you talking
yeah.
about? Klitschko?
No, Sergey Lakosevich. He lives here in Scottsdale. He trained at the
No,
gym.
I've mentioned this because I played soccer with Swedes. I've been in the martial arts with Eastern European guys, Russian, Hungarian. When I was in competitive Taekwondo, I fought in like the Olympic trials and shit. And I was kicking everybody's ass until I fought this guy from Hungary who hit me, and I thought I got hit with a fucking I thought I got hit with a field goal pole. You know what I mean? Every time this guy hit me, it just seemed like a monster. Like people don't people think they have. Oh, I got it. And then all of a sudden you run into something that's so extreme, and you say, "Holy shit! I thought I understood the way things were." And then, and I try to like people are talking about this COVID thing, you know what I mean? And people were saying to me, well, how come our countries look, it's a fucking first of all, it's a global pandemic. Okay. It's not something that's happening here or in just Wisconsin. It's a global pandemic and everybody's getting fucked and everybody doesn't know what to do. And they're all learning, they're all learning by fire. As the old Marine, the saying goes, learning by fire, right? And
Yeah,
everybody's learning by fire. And let's all try to help each other instead of say you should have said this and all this blame horse shit, you know. But the comparison would be to like, oh well, South Korea. And I'd ask somebody, have you ever been to South Korea? You know,
no.
yeah. Well, the people of South Korea, first of all, are much more disciplined than people from this country. It's not a slight; it's just an observation. It's a different mentality. It's a more of a group think. There's some individualism where we bled into that, but basically they're very disciplined folks. And the second
Are
thing
they
is, what's that?
aren't they thinner?
Well, they're generally thin. I was going to say it's not like you have an obesity problem in South Korea. It's not like, there's diabetes galore. So when you etc. So sometimes these even and what about Sweden? Well, again, I played soccer with the Swedes and I had a funny bit when Coach Thomas Rongen was on our show and we talked about showering with the Swedes, which was a bit intimidating because I called them the Batmen. They all had like a third leg. These guys, you know what I mean? So these and these calm down, Jonathan. Calm down. I got excited. So but like for example, I was joking. We used to do the Cooper's test. Jonathan, you know what the Cooper's test is, right?
No.
Okay. Well, the Cooper's test is a fitness test where you're supposed to be able to run 2 miles in 12 minutes to basically say you're of some sort of standard of fitness.
2 miles in 12 minutes. That's actually pretty good. That's really good.
As you got 6 minute miles, right?
Yeah,
Um,
that's really good. 2 miles
so,
in 12. Yeah.
so that was it. So in soccer for our preseason, we'd always go to a month or so before college, for school starts. You go to show up at preseason. They were great. 7 o'clock practice, 3 practices a day for 2 weeks. And 7 o'clock in the morning, you go on and run for 2 hours. And then you come back at 10:30, 11 o'clock, and guess what? You got to run again. We didn't see a ball for a whole week. We were just running and back and forth and cones and shit and jumping in the ground where it's all swampy, wet it was in Florida. So, and so these guys, I would have to prepare for like weeks before this. I gotta train for preseason. These guys would be smoking a pack of marbles in the parking lot of the school, of the field, drinking a bottle of vodka, and they'd outrun everybody. The Eastern Europeans, it's just a different. It's right. It's just I don't know how you say it. It's a different. They're just different. They're not pussies. Most of these people.
That's a lot of it.
A lot of these people have a hard life, and they fucking. So there's a reason why some countries are doing better than others. It's not just who's they're fucking running the country. It's the people. It's the people. You know. Speaking of the people, are you ready for the next civil war? Do you think we're going to have a zombie type apocalypse? I mean, people are boarding up everything right now, worried about what's going to happen during this election.
It's happening. It's happening online on keyboards. That's your civil war. That's where it ends.
In ending, do you think one of the biggest
who's going to beat the United States military and police force combined? They're going to just get beaten by who?
Again, we're not talking you. My question is,
and why? Why would you fight them? For what? What's the end goal?
Of fighting the police or some sort of a government.
For what? What do you want? No government? What do you want? I mean, I don't.
Well, there's people that want that. Like, look at what's happening in Portland and Seattle. I mean, these places are kind of, there's no comedy there right now, right? There's no comedy going on in Portland and Seattle, is there?
I don't know.
I don't think there's any comedy clubs open. I don't think anything's open there for that.
There's probably something. There's something everywhere because, there's something everywhere.
There's bootleg shows. A lot of people are talking about these shows at private homes or these like areas that the people are booking. And it's like last minute, kind of like a secret shows and stuff, which I think that's pretty cool. It's almost like somebody said it on the show, I think the other day, about they're almost like during the times of when you couldn't drink booze. What was the time where you couldn't? God, I'm having a Biden moment. Hold on. Thank you, Brad. You're in prohibition. It's almost like comedy is the same thing. There's like they have these
Yeah.
secret, the secret comedy shows. Um, so you're not worried about it. You're not worried about your
No,
any.
I'm not worried about it. I mean, people are gonna be disappointed either way. Whoever wins, it could be Biden wins, Trump. People are gonna be upset. Trump wins, Biden. People are gonna be upset. But at the end of the day, it's like we're still in a pretty kick-ass place.
Well, I don't
You
know if
know,
people. I don't know. If people,
we got a lot of cool shit to do here. We got great food. We got hot chicks. We got good-looking dudes. We got sports. We got movies. We got comedy. We got music. We got gambling. I mean, all that. We got nice micro brews right here. Look at this. Got a nice micro brew right here.
we got a
We
lot of.
got pizza.
Oh,
We got motherfucking steaks. You know what I mean? We got cash money.
I think what you're trying to
We
say,
got
Jonathan, is that I think what you're trying to say is that things aren't that bad. Calm down.
No, you got to focus on the positive. I know, things. Of course, I mean things can always be bad, and they'll get better. They'll get better regardless. I don't think it makes a difference who wins president. Things will get good. I mean, the pandemic can't last forever. It's eventually going to have an end.
Yeah, at some point.
And there'll be something else after that, but we'll be all right.
Let's see. Unless of course the China virus. See if they let something else go. Corona too. Some people actually talk about
Yeah,
that. There's going to be another. Once everything's cleared up, they're gonna punish us and go. See, now this is why we are the master of the
we're gonna
world.
shoot for another one.
Yeah,
We'll see. I mean, I don't think.
I think if that
I don't
happens,
think. I don't think it's too far off. I don't think China. I don't think China purposely sent it as a chemical, as a chemical warfare at us or anything. I think if anything, it was an accident. Kind of slipped out of a sloppy practice lab.
yeah,
But
Wuhan somebody said, oh,
we work on viruses here too in this country. I mean, we do that stuff here, so
well, there's a
we're always
difference.
engineering.
I don't know if you're aware of this, but every biolab that the United States sanctions or runs is at least 6 miles under seawater. And
I didn't know that. No.
yeah, other countries have not fallen to the same, to the same thing. And it's
That's crazy. That's interesting. I did not know that. That's actually really cool to know.
The Soviets actually have one that's only about a mile underwater off the coast of Cuba, which the United States has always talked to them about and said, look, you got to clear this shit up because we don't need something released there. See, I really believe in the philosophy of I don't know what I don't know. You know what I mean? Like as a human being, you think of that concept, you ask yourselves, like, I think there's so many people out there, and this happens. We've had this conversation on the show about comics, right? You get the new comics, they get their first 5 minutes and they start learning shit, and they're so excited to tell you of what they've learned. And you're like, dude, I fucking know. I mean, I know it's exciting when you find this shit out. You know what I mean? But that's the thing. When you learn something, you got to say, I want to learn more. There's some people that learn stuff and all of a sudden they become righteous and they think they know everything, and especially because of it, I call them the Google geniuses, the hindsight Hindus, and the know nothing know-it-alls. These are the folks that at their fingertips will hear something, they'll go on it and they'll oh, this is what I found out. And they'll Google, they'll cut and paste on their social media and they'll put it, look, I have this story. And meanwhile, it's some rag that nobody fucking reads. And then and they'll do all this shit and they'll throw the stuff out there and they'll seem like a genius because you don't have the time. And then if you ask a person that question from 2 weeks ago, they have no idea about even posting it. That's a difference.
Well, I mean, a lot of that ties into the virtue signaling too.
Yeah.
You see that with the election, you see that with the virus, with the masks, with all that stuff, and it's like, particularly with today, because it's election day. This is a very, very, just a very, I don't know, clear point that I believe. Okay, so I've seen a lot of people posting on both ends that, if you vote for Trump, you're a terrible person. If you vote for Biden, you're a moron and a socialist, whatever. Okay. So I see this again and again and again from people. A lot of times the same people. And no matter who you vote for today, if you've done people wrong, you've been a piece of shit for a long time, you don't all of a sudden become a good person when you cast that vote tomorrow. You're still the same person. It doesn't make a difference. That's all I'm saying. The vote doesn't make you. The vote, who you vote for today, does not determine ethically who you are as a person. It's how you treat people. It's what you are. It's what you represent. It's what you do.
Yeah.
It's not one simple vote.
Yeah.
It's not.
It's very existentialistic of you, my friend. And you know what? Because you're right. Because I believe in that. Like I always said, I judge people on how things work out. You know what I mean? Like look at you and I. Okay. Since I've met you, there's things I'll figure out. There's things I'll know. There's things I'll determine. Right. And you just say, this is a guy I can trust. Yeah, I can trust this fucking. You know what I mean? Like there's these moments you make these determinations. You understand this. And there's too many. There's others that just don't. They just don't trust. I think there's a lot of people don't trust that process anymore. That's why they're so defensive. That's why they're so. They got to put this shit up. Like, oh, like I was at the stoplight on the way home from my office today, and some lady walks by and she's got a fucking mask on and she's walking across the crosswalk by herself. And I was thinking, and I wanted right there to go, ma'am, you don't have to wear the mask when you're not near anybody and you're outside. But then I was like, you know what? Fuck it. That has nothing to do with me. So
It doesn't.
It doesn't.
I'll tell people what to do because people with their masks on in their car, whatever. It's not about let them live their life. If maybe they put the mask on and they found a comfortable fit that looks good,
Right.
and they want to leave that fit for the day. You know what I'm saying? Who knows? Who cares? I don't care what they do.
Their
I see
thing.
people all the time. I'm 2 miles away from civilization, out in the middle of the desert, in the middle of nowhere. I always run into people with masks on. I don't. It's fine. I'm not judging them. They can do whatever they want to do. I'm not going to wear one, but that's me. That's I'm not going to cough on them. I'm going to give them space in it, too. But
Yeah, you're not gonna be
I
sitting there.
personally am not going to wear a mask 2 miles in the middle of nowhere in the middle of the desert. I'm just not going to put one on. Put me inside a building. I'm going to respect people's area. I'm going to put the mask on.
Yeah, and you know what? And I said earlier in the show when we started is that you and I had situation. I was in a hotel and there was people that got off an elevator. None of them had masks, like a family, like young kids, the old. And I didn't sit there and go, "Hey, where's your mask?" I just basically said, "All right, my fat ass will take the stairs." You know what I mean? It's not. I'm not gonna. This is not for It's almost like this election. I have people that are going to go nuts. Oh my God, I can't believe if so and so wins, it's going to be this. I'm like, you know what? I feel blessed in the fact that regardless of who wins, I got my shit straight enough to where I'll live. You know what I mean? I'm gonna go on. And I think there's a certain group, and I don't want to post them out. There's a certain people. There's a certain side of this argument that cannot live with the results more than the other. And I think the difference is that the other people who can deal with it, this isn't their life. Where for others, it is their life. This is all they do. I said, one of the benefits of Biden wins is like it'll be fun. I'd like to see all these. I want to see the transition of all these late night shows and what they're going to do. It's like how they're going to try to rewrite this shit because there's going to be a lot of people. You know what I mean? This is almost like a comic that's been doing the same act for 20 years now, trying to write new shit. I mean, think about that. Think of all the jokes and all the TV, the late night, everything that's been going on, and what's going to happen when if Trump loses and he's gone. I think I think it's going to be a. It's going to be.
Yeah, I'm going to roll with it either way. It don't matter to me. I'm going to roll with it either way. I mean, I'm not much of a topical comic. I don't really. It's not really my thing anyway. So.
I don't think I've ever seen you get political.
I'm just saying, as far as material, political comedy, all that topical stuff, not really my thing. So I don't really care. I like it. I appreciate it. I'm just not that good at it. I'm a big fan of people that are. That's cool. I mean, do your thing. Either way, I mean, I enjoy it. It's just not something I'm good at. Or I don't know if I'm good at it. I just don't really. You write about what you care about.
Right.
What you think about. I know it's not something I really think a lot about. So.
It's interesting. Really. It's interesting you bring that up, Jonathan. But how would you categorize your comedy?
I don't know. I just tell jokes. I'm a decent guy.
Yeah, I think there's a little more to that. I think there's. I think there's a little fucking more. I mean, this was something nice on Facebook. I can't remember who it was, but somebody posted something. Name a comic that's not famous that you think, is really funny, like one of these people that are not famous or known, but they're really fucking funny. And your name came up in this list pretty early. Ty Rivera came up on that list, I think, as well. I don't know if you saw that. You were tagged, so you must have seen it. I think
That's cool. Yeah, I mean
actually,
that's nice.
actually I think it was our friend from Seattle area, um, one Seattle Comedy Festival. Big guy. I'm trying to remember now. God, I'm having again Biden moment. As a matter of fact, I just Alex Elkin. Yeah, I think he's the one who suggested you on that. Uh,
I
so
doubt that. I doubt Alex said that.
yeah, yeah, I think it was Alex. I mean, I could be wrong. I don't possible.
Alex is great though. I love Alex. Yeah.
I think that's one of the best things about so far for me in comedy is the relationships, like people you meet, and that because there's people you meet you don't care if you ever see again. There's people you meet like, oh, I can't wait to see these people again. You're right,
Yeah.
and it's kind of fun, and that's why the World Series of Comedy. By the way, I'm going to be in Vegas next week. Looking forward to that. Uh,
That's
you
awesome.
know,
I'm gonna miss you by 1 week. I'm gonna be there the next week. Damn it.
what are you doing there?
Comedy.
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 Where are you performing in Vegas?
I'm doing the Jack Slammy show on the Wednesday, and then I'm doing the winery in Henderson on headlining that Friday, Saturday,
Nice, man.
or the Ron Heron Heron Entertainment Winery Brewery Tour, which is an awesome. That's one thing that I've been able to do a lot during the pandemic
Right.
that I've been really you know thankful for is getting those bookings to different wineries and breweries around the country because
Yeah,
you can't
Ron.
really shut them.
Yeah,
It's just kind of
Ron's got a great thing. I know Ron, and I've done a couple shows here and there. Never did any tours, but did a couple local stuffs here. Definitely you talk a guy who fought his way. He did a great job finding his niche in
yeah.
this industry. Did a great job of that, and then I think that's a thing. I mean, you have to do that. I've never been a fan of people that mope and bitch. You know what I mean? I don't. I hate to be like a judgmental kind of person, but I've never been the kind of person I hear whining, bitching, complain. That kind of shit was up. That's the kind of stuff that makes me turn. You know what I mean? It's like shut the fuck up. Like because I think, and of course you had to be somebody who dealt with that. It's like everybody has adversity, right? Everybody, I don't, I mean, there's some people that are just so privileged they never dealt with any adversity, but I think for the most part, the average person has dealt with some sort of adversity, like challenges, whether really extreme or just constant. It could have been one major thing in your life. For others, it could have just been a fucking constant flow of bad things. No money. My dad had a good job. My parents split up. It may have just been an endless array of instability that just may have hit you. You know,
Yeah.
and I just when people do that, I'm like, all that means is when something bad happens, you crumble like a bitch. Because if it happens, most people, oh, what the fuck am I going to do now? All right, this is what I got to do. I'm gonna have to, like, now with all this COVID, like one of the questions I want to talk about is getting through 2020. You're finding work, you're doing stuff, you're keeping busy. Obviously, you're probably not making as much money as if obviously this wasn't happening, but you keep
No,
you keep
you get different things. I mean, I haven't taught a boxing class since last March. Since everything started, so I haven't been able to train anybody boxing, but um, still working at the gym, still doing comedy, find whatever shows I can. Been doing youth camps, trying to doing fitness classes for kids, because that's one thing. It's like the world shuts down. People are still working. Grocery stores, firefighters. I hear firefighting. I heard an ambulance in my background right now. I don't know if you're catching that, but firefighters, cops, all those people are still working. Where are their kids gonna go? The schools can close, but those kids got to go somewhere. So there's youth camps for them. So I got in and doing fitness camps for those kids. So that was cool.
yeah, that's neat.
I mean, this stuff's still out. I started playing with stocks for the first time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I'm just find different things you can do to make some
Exactly.
cash.
Cash and just keep yourself busy. I think that's key.
Busy, learn. Yeah, try to always learn, find things out. I mean,
Well, here's the thing. It's learning. I'm glad you transitioned us to that. But it was recently daylight savings time. Do you guys utilize daylight savings time in Arizona?
no.
You're right. You're one of the states that don't, right?
We're the only state that doesn't, and
Oh, really?
it was kind of yeah, it was kind of a thing I had to kind of coordinate starting Monday. Actually, I realized that because for me, like here and for Arizona time, the stock market opens up at 6:30, but it just ended up being 7:30, and
Right.
that's what kind of figured out on Monday. But you know,
That's one of the things I hated about when I do comp because I am a money manager. So when I go to LA or go to the West Coast and I'm there for a little while, it kind of sucks because I got to get up at like 5 in the morning,
you know,
because it's so the time difference is nuts. But daylight savings time occurred, and some people are like, why do we do this? But I guess it was designed back in the day because they wanted for energy saving, and if it's so hot, let's get people home earlier, before let's let let's let it get dark earlier so the air conditioner doesn't have to work so hard in the summer. You know what I mean, and stuff like that. But man, it's dark over here now at like 5:30. You know,
really.
it's crazy. I mean, you get up in the morning. I'm not an early morning person, but I get up, around 7 o'clock. It's light out already. You know, usually it's 6:37. It gets, but and on November 1st, states recognize daylight savings time. Fall back. I love that extra hour though. What'd you do with your extra hour this? Well, you don't do it. You guys don't
We
do it.
don't get one. We don't because yeah. Why?
You feel left out? Do you feel left out though? Do you feel like maybe?
I honestly don't understand why you all do it. It doesn't make sense to me. I'm a native from Arizona, so it's just something I grew up with, and I still never get like what's the point. I mean, see, I had a different understanding of what it was from, so I don't know. I'm not well read in the history of daylight savings time, but I thought it was a farming thing. That's what I thought it was.
Well, I'll give you a little bit of an edification. Thinkers, including Benjamin Franklin, the New Zealand scientist George Hudson, you know him, and the English William Willett, who was known as a twit, advocated for plans that would give them more sunlight in the day, going all the way back to the 18th and 19th century. So it had to do with farming, get up early, the crops are open early.
Yeah, I thought it was something about that, but I mean, I didn't put a lot of energy into thinking about it because it's not something that, well, it does affect my life because it kind of, even this, like the show right now, I had a different time in my head and I had to adjust.
Well, it's
And I,
interesting because if you guys don't change time, so when the rest of the world when the rest of the country changes time, like us, like if this would have been last week, right? You would have been like an hour earlier.
yes,
So
which I
you
would
got
have liked today. I actually liked that hour today. So I did actually get an extra hour today that I wasn't really thinking about until this morning. I kind of realized it. I'm like, oh, okay. So
right.
it actually it gave me a better workout is what it gave me.
Nice. Well,
So,
because I guess you guys in Arizona now have to pay attention to everybody else when that happens. So even though you guys don't change your time, everybody else in the other 49 states does. And then you have to now, oh, wait a minute, these fucking assholes again. They're changing their fucking time on us. And here now I got to figure out what time it is because these schmutzes, that's got to be frustrating.
well, Las Vegas now just clicks into the same time we have. So the next time I'm leaving town, in a week or so is Vegas. So we're at the same time now. So it actually worked out perfect for me.
Oh, that's good. But there's certain times of the year, obviously, where there's an hour difference between you and Vegas.
Yeah, like 2 days ago.
Right. No, we don't open a wormhole, dude. Let's not open up a wormhole. You know what I'm saying? Here's the other thing I want to talk about today, and this is serious stuff. Okay, when people ask me, "Oh, who are you worried about this and that?" and aren't you worried if the white supremacists? I said, "Look, you know what I'm worried about. Here's the only thing I worry about things that I cannot control, like I really have no control over. And like for example, a meteor hitting the Earth, right?
Yeah, that's not a deal. That's not happening though, right? And I know they were talking about that a few months ago, but
Well, they had a
supposed to be one
couple
that
of
was supposed to hit today, right?
no. Well, there was the one on yeah, there was one on the yeah, but that went by. It went by quick. It whistled, "Hey, what's up?" And it ran a Biden bus off the road. A meteor came by, and it ran a Biden bus off the road. But they say scientists say in 2068. Let's see, that's 48 years from now. How old will you be?
90.
Really? Hmm. All right, so that's 40 years from me. I'll be
My
90.
son will be 50.
All right. So you better warn better warn him while he's shitting in his pants. Say, look, you keep shitting in your pants.
My
Um,
daughter will be 48.
a new report from the University of Hawaii Institute of Astronomy indicates that a 1,000-foot wide, about the same size as my cock, um, asteroid called Apophis may be very close to Earth. Maybe. See, I love when scientists say may. We're not sure. The only thing that's scary is when scientists say we're baffled. Um, while tracking the asteroid, which is named after the Egyptian god Chaos, found that it sped up during an orbital process called the Yarkovsky effect. You may get this on Jeopardy one day, there, Jonathan. But the Yarkovsky effect, okay, is when a comet is traveling in a certain orbit and it gathers heat from the sun and it causes more, gas, like maybe eating a Taco Bell at 3 in the morning, and it causes it to maybe change its orbit a little bit. Uh, so we may have Did you remember the last? I thought it was pretty spectacular a few years ago when there was a meteorite that crashed into Russia a few years ago. You remember seeing that thing?
Yeah, it killed 17 people, right?
Yeah. Some guy says, "What's that?" I don't know. Let's try to catch it. So the best thing about that is everybody in Russia has those cams on their car because of you know like lying when car accidents and shit. Yeah, I didn't hit you. You hit me. Fuck you. I hit you. Then now everybody's got a camera on their car so they can document the accident. But it all picked that shit up, and it was basically that meteorite was about the size of a Jiffy John. So imagine what 1,000-foot one would do. Well, obviously Jonathan does not care about asteroids. Um, fucking Earth, and I'm guessing Kabir has not made it. So we're gonna. I wonder if he's gonna. Let me know, Brad. Let me know if Kabir gets it off a plane at some point. But we have a word of the day, by the way, Jonathan. You and I will share the word of the day because this is a election day show, but we're not talking about politics.
Why
Um,
not? Why not?
well, you know, I think they had some early results. I think Biden won Vermont, and I think
Oh, he did. Well, that was off obvious.
yeah, I mean Vermont. You
That's
talk,
like Trump winning Indiana. That was obvious. That was going to happen.
yeah, people in Vermont still shit their pants and walk around, don't give a shit. It's a fucking weird state.
I've been to Vermont. Not a fan.
Yeah, Vermont is, you almost got to believe like how is Vermont just over there by New York? It's like a weird area. And I think yeah, I personally here's my call. This is the election day call for me. I think Trump is going to win Pennsylvania. I,
Well,
I
that's huge.
I really think it because I think the fracking things that in that debate really screwed Biden. And I think Trump is going to win Florida.
Yeah.
I think, and I just time the socialism aspect with the Cubans down here is going to push that vote, and I think the big part of this election is going to be how Trump won the black vote. How Trump, there's a lot of black people that are going to be voting for Trump that most people are not thinking they're voting for him.
So you're picking. You think Trump's going to win?
What's that?
You think Trump's going to win? Then that's your prediction.
I just think, I don't know if he eats it in other states, but I just think those states are what's going to come into play.
Definitely. Florida's huge.
You know,
If Trump loses Florida, it's over.
yeah, that's very telling. And it's going to be, I just I don't know what Facebook's going to be like after the election.
We're Arizona. We're Biden's supposed to win Arizona.
It's normally a red state though, right? Didn't,
I know, but
yeah.
I think Obama won it.
I think he won it. Well, he was going against Mitt Romney. Come on, Mitt Romney. Mitt Romney, remember when he screwed himself when he was at that big dinner and he was basically down, he was just being a privileged fuck. These peasants, they should whip and fucking tar and feather them. I don't know. It was a yacht, it was some sort of yacht club conversation Romney was having. But by the way, our word of the day, because every time here on the Wake Up Late with Doug show, we have a word of the day. And the word of the day today is Ignominious. Do you know the name ignominious? Do you know what the word ignominious? Uh, Ignominious. Ignominious means
I've heard it. I have no idea what it means.
um, well, I think it has to do with
Like
Henry.
when I
I
say
think,
I've heard it like 5 seconds
yeah, it's that old joke, Bob Saget joke. I read it. I wrote it, then I read it. Um,
ago.
Deserving or causing public disgrace or shame. Deserving or causing public disgrace or shame, ignominious. So Henry
Okay.
B is trying to be ignominious to you. Interesting word. You know what? We usually have a nice little fanfare and stuff, but let's just get right to the stories. We only got a few minutes. You ready? These
Oh,
these stories are real. These stories didn't just come from somebody's makeup set. Tourist
yeah.
arrested for hiding a loaded firearm at a Walt Disney World Magic Kingdom. Imagine taking your kid to World Disney World in Fort Lauderdale or in Orlando in Florida, and and some lady is trying to get it. It's so funny the story. The woman, 27-year-old woman, was arrested for hiding a loaded firearm in Walt Disney World.
Huh.
She
Why?
actually, yeah, I mean, you know, you never know when you're going to get in a scrap. You know, fucking Disney World. So that's the thing. I think the way the world is, you're going to have more of these little mishaps. Like there was a story about somebody stole his Trump signs, and he was chasing him down. He ended up killing 2 or 3 teenagers because he thought they were the ones who stole the fucking sign. Really, you're killing people over a fucking sign?
I never heard about that story. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Officers say Marcia Temple hid her purse behind a planter. Not like there's any cameras in Disney World. I'm gonna go and sneak this fucking purse. I'm gonna put it right here. Nobody's looking. And transport says here the purse behind a planter before proceeding through the security metal detector. Yes, because there's never going to be any cameras just before you enter a metal detector. They're not searching for any odd behavior for people that are about to go through a metal detector. She was spotted ditching her purse by a hospital worker who was conducting temperature checks. The hospital employees then notified Mickey, and Mickey said, "Fuck that bitch." So, this is what's happening in your tourist attractions.
What does she want? I don't understand. Why she what's the gun for? Like is she meeting up with an ex or something? I mean something's going down.
Something premeditated, or she
Or
think like there's
she's a gangster. She's got enemies always out there for her. I mean, you know what I mean?
yeah, she's a comic, and she thought Henry B was going to be there. Um, Listen, well, we've seen that. We actually had a fight. There was a big fight in Disney World. A couple black families. That's who it was. I'm not being racist. I'm just saying that's who it
No, I
was.
saw that video. It was pretty. It was a pretty big hit on the internet.
Yeah, you remember that? And it's funny when you see you got to appreciate this as somebody who trains as a fighter. Why are the people getting in fights never just look like they've never learned how to fight? You know what I mean? Like, because one of the beauty things, like this, if let's say somebody doesn't know you, I mean, you're an intimidating. Look at you. You look like you're like one of these Norwegian gods. You know what I mean? That fucking carries a sword and fucking shaves his beard with an axe. You know. So, but if somebody doesn't know what you're capable of, and this has happened to me 100 times, and I'm short. I'm only 5'9". I've never been a big guy when even in high school and shit, but I knew how to fight. And people think they know, and they come and they push, and then you get into a fight with them, and you're like, I can't hurt. I don't want to hurt this person. It's like you could tell they don't know what they're doing. Like
Yeah.
why would you get into a fight if you've obviously never even thrown a punch? It was amazing to me. Amazing. Um, oh, this is a great story, dude. University apparel emblazoned with "cum" is a chaotic internet mystery. CUM.
Huh.
Yeah. Can you imagine this actually went through, like the people in marketing said, no, no, go ahead and put it through. It looks good. Delighted and embarrassed students and other internet users shared on TikTok and elsewhere. A private Lutheran school in Concordia University of Michigan appeared to have recently debuted a rather unfortunate and glorious new line of athletic wear. The new line prominently featured what people assume to be the university's acronym, CUM, Concordia University of Michigan. Concordia University of Michigan. Come.
Yeah. Great name.
I think I wear it.
I think cum though, on like technically speaking, like when you're talking about like cum in like in a semen sense, everyone spells it cum, but I think like if you're gonna put in a sentence like there was cum all over the floor, I think it's supposed to be spelled COME. I think cum is technically not a word.
Did the guy who told you how to do diaper work, the Russian guy, teach you? I don't think. You know what?
I mean, we know it as a slang spelling, but when you use cum in a sentence, and you're going to grammatically spell it correctly, I think it is COME, even in that context.
I'll have to check that out with the judges. And here's the thing. I think you're right. I think you're right. I think that's the way it is. There you go. Our next story. You like this story. This is a boxing story. This just happened. Boxing match ends in grotesque fashion after Jamie Munguia punches pieces of an opponent's lip off. Did you see that fight?
No.
I mean, I've seen fights where especially grappling fights like MMA, where the guy's ear was inflamed. No, it's actually a boxing match. It was a boxing match. The guy's ear was getting hit, from the hooks, and his ear was just getting. You could tell it was just cut, from the top part of the earlobe. I mean, the top part of the ear, and it was cut. And so the guy kept hitting him, and then the guy's fucking ear tore off. Like it can happen. You don't need Tyson to bite it.
From the mouthpiece itself, it had to go through my lip. You know what I mean? Like a cut. It actually cut through my lip.
I hate mouthpieces, dude.
I don't know if you've seen that happen before, but that happened to me before.
Yeah, like you get punched like up in the mustache area, like a nice straight right hand.
And the mouthpiece worked its way in like through your skin. Through that, yeah.
The impression that comes to there. Nothing worse than getting your mouth cut, right? Then you got to spend a week or two trying to eat shit that doesn't burn the shit out of it, and you got to spend the whole week not biting at it from the inside of your mouth.
Yeah, I mean, there's worse things. But yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to be bitching. And Dougie's pissed off about his fucking mouth being cut. Meanwhile, I've been kicked in the balls 89 times. Yeah, that was a gross fight, and I wish I was there. We're zipping through this because I want to go. I wonder any election results, everybody. North Carolina pastor steps down from job after a woman accused him of peeing on her during a Delta flight.
Not buying it.
No, it's a real story. A North Carolina pastor, Daniel Chalmers, who was accused of urinating on a woman while she was sleeping during a flight, stepped down from his position at Raleigh in a Raleigh church, according to the news, after he took a piss, of course. Citing a statement by the Catch the Fire Raleigh Durham church pastors, reported that Daniel Chalmers, who is a pastor at Love Win Ministries, which is founded recently, stepped down from his staff position and expressed grief and horror. Well, I guess the only thing worse could have been if he shit on her. That would have been embarrassing more.
Yeah.
Alicia Beverly accused Daniel
I
Chalmers.
don't think that happened. I don't think that story happened.
It happened. Alicia Beverly accused Daniel Chalmers of peeing on her on a Delta flight 874 from Las Vegas to Detroit.
I don't like to be the guy that blames the victim. I know that's not right, but I think this is a situation where the victim's lying.
Really?
Yeah, I'm gonna stand with the preacher on this one.
Yeah, but
he's a man of God. He's a man of God.
He didn't even defend himself, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy could have said, I was dreaming I was drinking in a beer contest. I was funneling beers, and when's the last time you pissed yourself, Jonathan?
I think if I did when I was put under. Did that happen? But knocked out. Did it happen when I got knocked? I don't know if I don't think I have pissed myself.
You never been on the road driving? I'll hold it. I gotta hold it, and then try to hold it next to it. Yeah.
No, because you can just pee out the car. I mean, you can pee. Yeah, no, I don't think. I'm trying to think if there has to be a situation where that happened. I was thinking of maybe sometime when I was put under or knocked out because I've been knocked out before.
Hmm.
But
Well,
no,
that's
I tased
medically.
the guy. I tased the guy before he pissed himself.
You what?
I tased the guy with a taser. He peed himself.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what were you
So
doing
I've seen
tasing the
I've
guy?
seen someone pee themselves.
Why were you tasing somebody?
That's a long story.
All right.
He threw a kick. I caught his kick. Tased his inner thigh.
Hmm. So you tased him.
Self defense. It was self defense. Yeah.
Yeah. What's your favorite punch?
Straight right.
Straight right. Is that your best punch?
Left hook to the body. Left hook to the body.
I love the
Left
left
hook.
body, dude.
Left hook to the body. Yeah.
Most people do not A, see that punch coming, and B, again, it's like one of those moments when you get hit with it. Like me when I was kickboxing, most of the people I was kickboxing with were either halfway decent boxers or really good karate guys. So you know what I mean? So very few of them really had boxing skills like a true boxer. Like, it's always the karate guys when they get with a boxer, they realize this fucking guy. There's so much more efficiency in the hand movement of a boxer versus a karate guy's punches. You know what I mean? It's a
Yeah.
difference. And so that left hook, I remember one of my first fights, I hit a guy with a left, not for, but amateur fights, the left hook, the guy didn't know what to do, and I just kept throwing it. That's the amazing thing about a
Yeah.
fight. When you keep landing it, you just keep throwing it. 'Cause, that person just isn't going to learn.
You can
Doc,
catch them extending. You can catch them extending their right hand, and then drop the left hook when that rib cage is open and exposed like that. Game over.
yeah, well, it's always great to watch people go down with a body shot. I mean, you hit
Beautiful.
somebody in the face, it's good, but when you hit them with a body shot, their whole. I mean, again, you're a boxer. Somebody asked me the worst I've ever been hit was in a taekwondo tournament, and there's something called the spinning back kick. Basically, a spinning back kick is when somebody turns and throws their heel straight, like just spins, and
Yeah.
their leg comes out like a donkey straight into your fucking chest. And back in taekwondo, we used to have those chest protectors. The sport taekwondo, we'd have to wear those chest protectors. And this guy was like 6'3", black guy, big, just really good guy. And I was getting on my hook. I was catching on my hook kicks. He couldn't. And this guy timed me and just hit me with a spinning back kick. I, that moment when you see a star explode.
Yeah.
That's what my core of my body felt like, dude. So when you get hit in the body or something like that, dude, everything just leaves, right?
Give you the. Was it a liver shot or knock the wind out?
The sternum shot, dude. It came right into my stomach, sternum area, just a back kick, a heel straight, and it just hit me. And it's almost like you see your body still, leaving. It's like all
Yeah.
that energy just leaves your body, and you can't control it. It's not like you can go, oh, I'm going to stop the breathe. No, you're breathing out, and it just keeps going. It's crazy. Hey, it is election day, so here's one story. A woman in labor makes her husband stop at elections office so she can vote. I promised Susan I was going to vote. God damn it! I'm not going to have this kid.
Right,
Uh,
lady.
yeah, this lady's dedicated. It says here that a Florida woman fulfilled her both Tuesday as she stopped to vote on her way to a hospital to give birth, according to the report. She had already gone in labor by the time she arrived at the Orange County Supervisor of Elections office in Orlando. Poll worker Karen Brinceno Gonzalez told the news that the woman had asked her husband to stop and vote on their way to the hospital, which is about a half mile away. What do you think they
Well, who
named?
do you think she voted for?
Oh, that's a good question.
That is the question. Who would someone? And I don't mean this against Biden supporters, but would someone do that for Biden?
Hmm. Her last.
Someone. Here's the thing, though. Someone could do that against Trump. You know what I'm saying? They're not doing it for Biden. So they're either doing it for Trump or against Trump. They're
Like,
not doing it for Biden.
I think she's a Biden supporter. I mean, her name is Gonzalez. That can mean anything. Um, and but she's got to vote. Or her name's Gonzalez. She may be from Venezuela. She's like, I'm not going to be socialist. We have to go vote. And
Yeah.
boom, that might have been it. And or she may have been one of those Cubans who parents didn't come from Cuba, or didn't ever have to worry about that. And she says, I liked Castro. He's kind of cute. And then, I want socialism. I like cigars. And she wanted to go vote for him. So, um, our last story of the day. Airport staff notices a man walking strangely, then finds over 2 pounds of gold up his ass.
Oh,
How much gold do you think you can carry in your ass, Jonathan?
not much.
Yeah.
That's still a seal that hasn't been broken.
Yeah. Yeah. Not even a pinky for me. While having a weird walk isn't illegal, transporting gold from Dubai to India without paying the 18% tax certainly is, unfortunately, one passenger said. Staff noticed his odd walk at an India Kannur International Airport on Tuesday, and they found 2 pounds of gold up his ass after making him perform oral for 3 hours. Yeah, we ended up finding the gold up his ass, but we made him blow us for about a half hour. According to the news, the Indian man had just arrived from Dubai on Go Air flight G8 4013 with a hefty tax awaiting him. It appeared, though, he had taken desperate measures to avoid paying the due. Listen, you can either pay $30,000 US or you can shove 2 pounds of gold up your ass. How much money you say? Anyway, that's all we have time for here on the Wake Up Late with Dougie show. I want to thank our good friend Jonathan Gregory for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
And
God bless.
Thank you, my friend, and have fun in Vegas. Sorry, I'm going to miss you.
You have fun in Vegas.
I will. I'm actually bummed out because I was supposed to be opening for Tom Rhodes at the Laugh Factory the week after. And they're opening again, but I think what happened was, smaller. You're probably using more local people because there's less money, budget, less room.
Yeah.
Kind of shit. So they kind of revamped the schedule. But I think I'll be back in April when he's back. So,
yeah.
What do you got coming up, dude?
That's about it. I mean, I kind of piecing things together apart. I mean, I'll be in Vegas doing the Jack Slammy show on the Wednesday. What's that? 2 weeks, November. What is that? 18th. That time.
Yep.
And then I'll be at the Henderson Winery, the one in Henderson, Nevada, right outside there, the 20th and 21st. So that's cool.
Are you bringing your own sound equipment?
I don't know about that show. I don't know. I have to check on that one. I mean, we'll see. That one, I don't know. I don't know if I have to on that one, but.
That's one thing with Ron shows you. Sometimes you got to bring your own shit because the people there don't know what they're doing half the time.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
I'll have it regardless, but yeah.
It's good to have it with you. But thanks for joining me, my friend. And for everybody else, let's get back to the election. Let's see who wins. And whatever ends up happening, like Jonathan said, we should all be able to get through this. Find shit to do, Find a calling. Politics are one small slither of our life, everybody. Don't make it everything and don't lose your family over it. That's all I have to say about that. Thanks for coming joining me today, my friend. And thanks for you'll get a free by the way, you get a free t-shirt, a cum t-shirt, by the way, for being on the show today. So I appreciate that.
Thank you.
You got it. Jonathan Gregg, everybody. And I'm Dougie Almeida. Don't forget you can join us next week right here at the same spot. Take it away, Brad. Good night, everybody.
Wait!